Recently, I was given the opportunity to get a scope from a company called Discovery Optics, and I've got a chance to get behind it with a 22. And I have some good news and I have some bad news. This is my SH4 from Arkin, and this is on a Ruger Precision 22, and it does a really great job on here. We do have some upgraded parts on here from Anarchy Outdoors. I don't want to forget about them. The bolt handle, the magazine release is extended, and that titanium muzzle device on the end is perfect. Most of us know that Arkin Optics makes a really good optic. Now, is it the best? No, it's not the best. The more that I've had the chance to play with some long-range optics and some different quality optics, I've come to realize that not every single gun that you build needs or deserves the best of the best optic. We don't need a $3,000 scope or a $2,500 scope on every build. Now, that said, your primo go-to-war gun definitely needs the right optic for that gun. I don't think anyone is planning their 308 battle rifle sniper gun and planning to put an Arkin on there. But while you're training with your 22, you should definitely have a Discovery optic on your 22 where you're getting used to your drops and your dials. That is where this product really shines. Now, the Arkin is pretty clear, and for what it is and what it costs, it does a really good job. And I am willing to say at this point, with the several hundred rounds I have behind this optic, that Discovery Optic fits the bill as well. It's very big, just like the Arkin is. It even comes with the sunshade down there on the end. You can make it even bigger. In this case, you could almost make it as long as the barrel is, because this little 22 has a short barrel. Now, I know this is the wrong scope for this gun. I get that. It's the wrong mount for this gun. I get that. But was it fantastic to shoot a pretty darn accurate 22 with a big old scope that I can zoom all the way into 25? Yes, it was. I was able to go all the way through. I shot some 50-yard stuff getting sighted in, hopped over on the 100-yard range. This optic performed exactly how I would have expected it to. It was easy to dial. I had no trouble getting it dialed in. Zero stopping it was not a big deal to get set up. I did not finalize the zero stop because it's not staying on this gun. I just wanted to get some time behind it, see how clear it was. It was a 100-degree day in Texas. We were out at the range in the shade, shooting through the shadows. I had no problem seeing crystal clear. The cool thing was I took both of these 22, so I was able to go back and forth between the Arkin and the Discovery, kind of comparing them a little bit and seeing, hey, what am I missing here? Now, the next time I go out, I will take one of my expensive scopes and we'll look through both of them. Everything on here performs exactly like you think it should. They did include the throw lever. This moves perfectly free and normal. Not too tight, not too soft. I'm not worried about any of that. We were able to, parallax is firm but stays put. This does have illumination, but I don't even think I have a battery in there. I'll never use the illumination on here. The mount was fine. This is the one that came with it. Spending another couple $100 on a mount. It's nice that they include that. These aren't the best rings, but they're absolutely fine for shooting a 22, and I'm gonna test them on a 308 very soon. So between the parallax and the adjustment, I was able to get crystal clear. I did not notice anything weird around the edges. It's a big tube, and so you're able to see a lot of field of view down there. Even when you're zoomed in at 100 yards, you've got a nice field of view. The turrets and everything moved and tracked exactly as they should. It was very predictable for me to come up or go down when I was getting dialed in. It was going where it was supposed to. I did not do a tracking test. I'll do that with 308. We had a couple of experiences happen to us at the range on this trip. I might tell you about that in another video. Let me know in the comments if you want to hear one of my range stories. It was interesting. So system of use for an optic like this. Price and value are there. So if it's pretty clear, it tracks like it's supposed to, you know, it's not the one that I'm going to put on my battle rifle or my sniper setup or whatever you're doing. It's not for that. This is for you to train and get used to an optic that dials. It is for you to practice using the Christmas tree reticle. So if you've spent all of your money getting your latest Grendel or Creedmoor or 308 that you want to stretch out at some longer distances, and you need an optic to put on there that you can get from Amazon pretty quickly, have it in a couple of days, this is where this really shines. If you want to save up later and drop $2 or $3 grand on an optic, highly recommend it. Wouldn't tell you not to. But in the meantime, this thing has a place. It's good. They have several models. They're not all this big and this heavy. This is the biggest and the heaviest. But it was really nice to have all that zoom and all that field of view. So the main problem with this is it's heavy. It's very heavy. It's prohibitively heavy in some cases. If you're bench rest shooting, great. You would never want to carry this. This thing is, it doubles the weight of this. I guess I should probably weigh it to prove it before I make a statement like that, but I'm pretty confident that the optic is about as heavy as this 22 is. So I got a side charging 308 upper from Bear Creek that needs some rounds through it, and it also needs a decent scope. So we're gonna try, it does have a 20-inch barrel. It's supposed to be the 416R stainless. It is the accurized version of the 308 barrel that Bear Creek makes. And so I'd like to put an optic like this on that and play with some 308 at some longer ranges. Now, here's what I would do for a system of use. If you do buy this and you're wanting to upgrade to a different scope later, maybe go ahead and get the nicer mount. I really like Warren, and I'll leave a link for them down below. The Warren mounts have never failed me. That's the one that Tracked Optics recommends as well. So pick up a Warren, you know, that cantilever Warren is going to be the way to go. I don't like the split ring setup here where you have a front and a rear. I like it all as a one-piece mount, the cantilever style. That's the way that I would probably recommend most people go. So if you get a nice mount and then you put your training optic on there, you can come back later and swap that out and you've already got the good mount. Plus, if you were to have any troubles, I would probably say that the first suspect here, if I'm diagnosing a problem, is probably going to be this mount. Not that it failed me in any way, that's just what it is for now. We'll test it on a 308, something with a little more punch. We'll see how it reacts. We're gonna do some up and down tracking, left and right, make sure it's going where it says it's going and where it should be going. All that will be coming up later. It's very hot in Texas right now. I don't really plan on being outside shooting any long range videos for a couple of weeks. We need to get into late August, early September before we can actually have some cooler days, and sometimes it's into October before we get some cooler days. So we'll see. Praying for some cooler weather as summer goes on. Final word on this, if you're using it how it's intended to be used, I think it's a good option. So far, so good. Let's see how it does on some 308. There is another clue in this video. Make sure you're checking that out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.